We're not done yet. Unfortunately, I heard most of the next promo. And folks, I'm not ribbing you now. This is, we're coming up on, this is the last segment before the 9 o'clock hour. So the entire first hour of the program has been what we've just said. And then we're in the ring with Stokely and poor Chris Statlander.
Oh, this segment. Oh, my God.
And why is Chris Statlander standing around doing nothing? Is she hurt again? Is there a reason why that? I mean, as we've said, she's probably one of the only Willow now. Willow has potential if she can get out of there. But Statlander, with a good training program and some confidence on promos and booking and direction, you could draw money with. And she's out there doing a poem putting over Willow Nightingale. Put Willow, put Willow, put Willow. And then Willow comes out.
And then Caprice. And Caprice was awesome, and you couldn't hear anything. You could just tell he was doing good.
Yes. No, I forgot to they had Caprice Coleman on at the announce desk doing some type of rapping, as the young folks do, about Willow. But you know, as you mentioned, we didn't hear a lot of the announcers, and only then sometimes when we didn't want to. So it was. But it sounded like by the fast way that he was doing it, that he wasn't fucking anything up. And then Willow and Stokely did some comedy about how they didn't like each other at first. And did we see the first of this and ignore it, or did they do the first of all of this on a program other than Dynamite?
Of all of this meaning what?
All of this, why is Stokely with Willow and Statlander?
It just kind of happened. Statlander and Willow were together, and then Stokely kind of joined the parade. Maybe they all drive in together from the island. I really don't know.
And he just said they didn't like each other. Anyway, all of a sudden music plays and Mercedes moans out. And
nothing like loud, muffled CEO chants that are synthetic. They're not even real. It's just loud audio of fake CEO chants.
Well, but no, they did get a little drava of a CEO chant from the actual people, because this is Jacksonville and it's the friends and family audience, basically, right? So they're trying to work with that. They cheered Jungle Jack. Try that in fucking Chicago or goddamn anywhere other major city in the country. But still, she's just doing a heel promo and the people were booing her. And if you could believe any of this, because it's either rotten material or really bad acting, I wrote dramatic recitation of scripted dramatic scene. Willow spent half the time looking at the handheld camera while she's supposed to be venting her frustrations at Mercedes, and then she looked with the sympathetic look. She looked at Mercedes and said, "I genuinely feel so awful at what happened to you." Instead of, "Hey, you got hurt. It's a contact sport. Why are you whining in front of all these people?" And let the fucking heel start whining some more. But nevertheless, Willow is trying. But they're standing unnaturally.
That's it. That's it. That's what got me right there. They were standing next to each other, talking to each other, facing forward.
Yeah, yes.
Facing the camera, WWE style, when Vince was still running things.
But Vince ain't there. You don't have to do that shit now.
Mercedes Moné's there, and her writer is there, and that's the system. That's the only thing they can do.
Alexandra Pepperday, you think she's out there blocking the scene? Say, no, stand in a V shape.
Think of all the successful talking segments in AEW history, whether it was Punk or MJF or Kingston, whoever was in them, in the ring, where guys went to different corners, where people were in the ring talking to each other and the camera wasn't just static. This was done so fakely, if that's a word, so poorly and fake, because they were standing at that weird WWE Raw angle of a few years ago.
Well, but no, I think you're wrong, because it wasn't only because of that. It was also because they did a rotten job of it anyway. If they'd have been standing on their fucking heads in 3 feet of shit, it would have still been rotten. But that's the thing, isn't this the material? I don't know what the fuck. But obviously Mercedes is now, and then Mercedes goes to leave, and Statlander grabs her by the arm, like, wait a minute. And Mercedes turns around and slaps Willow, and then they all yell at each other. But are they now admitting that Mercedes is a heel and she's acting like it and speaking like it? Or was this just accidental and they're not? And the people were booing her just because she's a fucking obnoxious bitch.
If you looked at the company show-wide, the only thing you would come away with is the idea that they still are going with the idea there are no baby faces and heels. And that's the way they treat everything. This was bad. Obviously, they're teasing Statlander turning. They both blamed each other for the attacks in the previous weeks in these bad segments. Not Julia Hart, each other. It was like the AEW women's division, believe it or not, as much as I rag on it, had some potential because of Willow and Statlander and Julia Hart. And you know what? Sky Blue and Anna Jay. I'm not saying they're all ready, but there's something to be worked with there. They could, if you wanted a really serious women's division, you have things you could work with to get things going. It's almost like when WCW in 94 almost felt like it was getting back on track, and then Hogan came in.
Yeah.
And then everything was like, okay, now everything's centered around this. We'll see. You know, they're doing this whole thing around Willow injuring her in New Japan. On a New Japan show, I think in California, right?
Yeah, it's not even like, God damn it couldn't even be in Tokyo. It's in fucking Bakersfield.
And no one just spells it out. And why is Willow so upset she may have hurt her opponent in a match? What do you think happens in a wrestling match? That's the only opponent who's ever been hurt? In kayfabe. That's the only opponent the wrestler Willow Nightingale has ever hurt in there? It makes no sense. It's bad booking.
And you know what they could actually say, because it was a mistake. Was it not even something that Mercedes did on her own anyway, rather than something Willow could say, like, hey, I wasn't responsible. But show it, analyze it, drill it into people's heads, make it a bone of contention, not this goddamn vague allusion to fucking hurt feelings. What the fuck?
Yeah, not good.
Anyway,